Hello, welcome. Happy Friday, wherever you are in this world. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us. I know that we have the Midwest well represented based on the email addresses of people I recognize that register. We have, I think, 20 people that registered for the webinar. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Take a moment before we rock and roll. We have people that are probably still joining us. So take a moment and clear your space, silence your phone, give yourself permission to get present for yourself for this webinar. You're welcome to have a mug of tea or water with you. Grab a pen or pencil and your journal, some scratch paper. And good, Sarah let me know that she's on. Hello, welcome. Yay, I'm excited that you're here. And again, we're just kind of doing a little housekeeping here. We're checking video and audio, making sure that you can hear me okay. And if you are live, let me know where you are watching from. Just pop your name and location into the chat box, or you can text me if you're on, if you know me or worked with me personally. And we're here. Welcome for the Healthy Body Holiday Top Tips webinar. And this week, as people were registering, I was asking for questions. You know, what is your top question in terms of your body, your health, your well-being, especially during the holidays? What's your biggest challenge that comes up? And these are the answers, or the questions that I got for my question. And we'll cover these throughout the webinar, and especially at the end, we'll kind of touch base with them. So key questions that I've received. The first one, how do I manage my stress better? There were a number of individuals that sent me basically that same question. And I love how Sue, one of my clients, framed it really tangibly. She said, how do I change from being stressed out to feeling better, to feeling good or calm or grounded in a matter of minutes? Like, are there things I can be doing for 5, maybe 10 minutes max that are super convenient, useful, really immediate, tangible results? And the answer to that is yes. You'll get to experience some of them during this webinar. And of course, that's why the Healthy Body Holiday Program was created as well. So taking a moment here, I lost my video. Sarah, if you want to let me know that I'm still on. We might just be restarting here for a moment. Okay. Good. And nice. I'm going to go ahead and keep rolling. I think we're still live. Good. All right. So in the midst of technical glitches, we breathe and we ground. So the second question that I had was about food. You know, several people saying there's so much food around the holidays. It's everywhere. It's in the break room at work. It's at my house. It's at my friend's house. There's all kinds of goodies and treats around, alcohol, cocktails being served, and how do I manage that? We'll talk about that one throughout the webinar. And yeah, so Sarah, if you want to enter a message, if you're watching from the lead page that I sent you, you're welcome to keep texting. You're good there. If you're watching through Google, if you're joining us live there on the Google Plus or Hangout page, watching there, the chat box is on the right-hand side of the live feed. If you're watching through YouTube, go ahead and maybe join us on Google Plus, because I know where the chat box is for that one. Otherwise, again, feel free to leave a comment at the bottom of the YouTube video, and I'll get back to you. So the third question that I got about Healthy Body Holiday was, how do I keep myself motivated? How do I get myself moving? How do I stay active? How do I inspire myself to actually do the things that I know make me feel better or feel healthier? So we'll talk about motivation as well. So again, make yourself comfortable, silence your phone, take a moment for a sip of water. Welcome if you're just joining us. Good, good. We're up one viewer. And as we make space, let's take a moment before I even introduce myself to ground. Okay? So feet on the floor, butts in your chair. If you're lying down, that's fine. Take a moment to literally feel where your body is in contact with the chair and with the floor. Getting a baseline status quo on current status, sensation, current sense of physical body. So whatever level of tension is present, sensation, and the quality of your breathing. And whatever is present, whether it's pleasant or not, take a moment to accept it, acknowledge it, neutral witnessing. Good, and finish this next exhalation. And then open your eyes when you're ready. Good. So welcome again. I'm Sherry Dostal Riba, your guide today and the creator of the Healthy Body Holiday online program. I'm so excited to be offering this material, both through the webinar and also, of course, the full online program, which will open November 22nd and begin December 1st. So we'll get all those details at the end of the webinar. And the reason why I'm excited is, A, I love teaching. B, I love teaching because of the transformation and change that I'm able to witness in the people that I teach, and you guys. So being able to relax, being able to feel and sense, being able to really skillfully help ourselves move towards better health and experience it tangibly, that gets me so excited. And I know that during the holiday season, it can be a real challenge to prioritize self-care, to prioritize movement and workouts and yoga and meditation and cooking healthy meals and anything else you can imagine. So this program is about supporting all of you in your goals for healthy living this season. So what we're going to cover in the webinar today, we have a description. We're going to use imagery to describe the stressed, hot mess version of the holidays. Some of us have experienced moments of that, maybe seasons of that in our lives. And we're going to flip that and also explore imagery that is of a healthy body holiday, the health that you can experience this time of year instead of the stressed, hot mess version. We're also going to cover 4 key strategies to help you prepare now before Thanksgiving, before Christmas, before the social calendar ramps up, before New Year's and New Year's resolutions. We're starting now. We don't have to wait until things get so bad that then we have to pay attention or we end up ill, right? Let's establish key healthy awarenesses and habits, build them into our day-to-day lives now, starting today, so that we can sustain ourselves and enjoy the holiday season that much more. We will see where we're at for time. We'll go through for sure the 3 Q&As that I mentioned in the beginning. How do I manage stress better? What do I do about all the food that's present? And how do I get motivated and stay active? How do I get myself moving? And after that, we'll do little discussion about the online program and see what other Q&A options we have with people that are on live. So here we go. Take a moment with me and imagine. I'm going to read the Healthy Body Holiday description. So imagine with me, if you will. Feel free to close your eyes, feel grounded as I read this description to you. And maybe with your fingers, just keep track of how many of these items really resonate with you. It's something that you currently experience, or it's something that you really want to experience this holiday season. So taking a big deep breath and imagine with me your healthy body holiday. You say yes to parties and social gatherings that light you up inside and anticipate them joyfully. You've gotten very good at declining when your calendar is full or your energy simply doesn't feel in it to say yes. I have another commitment, you say clearly. Saying no can feel so good. Getting your butt moving, dancing, working out, or onto your yoga mat is a natural part of your day-to-day life. And your body loves movement, especially during a busy holiday season like this. Your posture feels tall and upright and free. Entering a party, you're aware of your breathing and feel genuinely present with the people around you, sharing the holiday experience with them. When you see a table of food, you confidently survey all the options, select what you want most, and enjoy every last bite. Indulging is allowed, pleasure is welcome, and you feel content and full. Your body tells you when enough is enough, and you've gotten more skilled at listening to her. You love the holidays and soak up all the joy, peace, love, gratitude, and energy that you can. You're able to give and receive with ease. Sounds pretty great, right? Yes, that is probably what we are all hoping for, and those are coming from my own experience and my own vision for myself, as well as all of you as you participate here today and hopefully in the online program as well. So for the sake of learning by contrast and maybe for a little humor, we're also going to imagine for a brief moment the stressed hot mess version of the holidays. So take a big breath in, big exhale, and identify with me how many of these you relate to. You've rushed around the house, slapped on some makeup, even though the bags under your eyes are a dead giveaway to how you really feel, and you rush to yet another holiday party. You come home exhausted and cranky at your partner and your family, and you go to bed upset or disappointed with yourself. You feel bloated, sluggish, and frumpy in your clothes, and you're so tired all the time. You haven't worked out in days. Wait, has it been weeks? Your shoulders ache, you have a persistent headache, and your bowels are anything but regular. Here we are again, overwhelmed. Your body and health needs have fallen to the last place on your to-do list. But you have to keep pushing. You feel like you have to keep pushing because your family needs you, your job needs you, your social calendar is full, you have more gifts to buy, and you do your best to smile through it all. Yes, strong imagery. Take a big breath in. Shake the arms out. Shake them out. One more time. Inhale, lengthen up, reach through the fingertips. Exhale, drop the arms. Let go of that imagery. Big sigh, let it go. Good. So you may have a number in your mind of how many items in the Healthy Body Holiday resonated with you or you really crave that experience. Jot that down. Same idea for the hot mess stressed version of the holiday. Identified however many of those you could really relate to and jot that number down. No judgment, objective acceptance. Okay? So we have, of course, lots of scenarios that can happen. And the goal, the aim here, I want to make it clear that my goal with the program is not perfection. Even in the immersion program that I do, working with people one-on-one every week, really intensive, focused practice together, even in those scenarios, our goal is not perfection, because what is that? You know, that creates a whole lot of pressure and stress itself. So the goal here again is that this webinar and the Healthy Body Holiday program, it's not theory. We have all heard of holiday tips like drink a glass of water before you eat dinner, or make sure you take a walk after dinner, or make sure you get to the gym every morning before work so that you can have the holiday treats, etc., etc. Filling up on veggies first before the sweets, or even staying away from sweets. Having a glass of water between cocktails or instead of cocktails so that you feel better the next day and want to work out. You know, we've all heard these common sense tips. And my curiosity and my hope with this webinar and with this program, Healthy Body Holiday online program, is that it takes it from theory, thinking about doing something different, and gives you the kind of embodied awareness through movement practice, where you feel clear and empowered and decisive about what you really want, what you truly value, whether you say yes, whether you say no. You have that kind of embodied confidence and clarity with then your actions and your choices in these different environments. So we can talk about all the tips we want, and there are a wealth of tips in the Healthy Body Holiday Guide, which you get with the program. And those tips are helpful. What's more helpful than all of that is our own awareness. It all starts with our own ability to focus, pay attention, to pause, and from the power of that awareness, then make a choice that will feel good during and feel good after, right? Something that is both short-term, nourishing, satisfying, as well as envisioning that choice and how it fits into the bigger picture of the healthy body holiday we want, the healthy life that we want, filled with joy, etc. So let's continue on. Let's get into our 4 tips, okay? And we're going to go through them one by one, and then we'll review them at the end. One sip of water here. So top strategy number 1, set your intention. Sounds really obvious, maybe. And we've gone through the 2 different types of imagery. And when we know what we're moving away from as well as what we're moving towards, that gets a lot clearer for us when we're setting our intention. So by setting intentions, I'm not necessarily talking about goals like I will take a walk 4 days a week, or I will get to yoga 3 days a week, or I will meditate every night before going to sleep. Those are all great, wonderful intentions. Think deeper than that and discern, decide, feel, what are the top 2 or 3 images or words or feelings that I want to cultivate during this holiday season. So my intent with the Healthy Body Holiday program is joy, peace, and energy. Energy/health. Joy, peace, and energy. Okay? So in creating the content, I had that in mind of how do we boost mood and metabolism and energy? How do we open ourselves up to pleasure and joy? And how do we ground, calm, center ourselves in the midst of lots of stuff going on? So take a moment for your intention. Dream of how you want to feel in your body during this holiday season. Identify those words that when you read them, when you see them on your fridge or on your post-it note, when you think of them, they become like a mantra for you. They're easy to remember, and they instantaneously make you feel better, more focused, and clear that you're moving towards that feeling. Take a moment, think of them, maybe write them down, do a little free write about, I want to feel ... during this holiday season. Go ahead. Take a deep breath in. And if you were writing, go ahead and set your pen down. Good. Nice. So top tip number 2, set boundaries. Setting boundaries a long time, years. It's been something that I'm studying personally in my life over and over again, as well as in my teaching. I work with clients. This comes up a lot. How are we creating a safe, sacred container, bringing in a little bit even of spirituality? What is it that's non-negotiable? What is it that we kind of morally, spiritually, ethically have decided from this point forward? That is no longer allowed, and this is a yes. What are we weeding out that we know causes us to stress, react, burn out, reach overwhelm, feel anxious, whatever it is? What are we saying no more to, right? An example of that is I was working with a client a few weeks ago, and there are certain people, certain scenarios in her work life, in her company, that contribute to a lot of stress for her. And the way that we flipped it around, rather than saying, okay, don't talk with them, don't work with them, that's not really an option, right? They're on the same team, they need to work together to reach whatever objectives for the company. So what we flipped around was, what is my role in this? And we decided together, she decided for 48 hours that she was not going to contribute to the drama. So if someone's complaining, if someone is negative, if their perception, if their emotions, if their judgments or criticisms had been taken on as your own, and that created your own stress, then flip that. Decide that you are no longer contributing to that. Okay? So we can set boundaries and say no more, thank you very much, no more, remove ourselves from those situations, or dramatically flip the perception back into our own power and decide whether we contribute to something or not. On the other side of that, we have things that light us up. We have people, places, environments, family members that we love to spend time with, and let's prioritize those a little bit more. So letting go of any shame, any guilt, any self-judgment around, well, but I should spend time with them. Well, I really need to. There will be scenarios like that for certain people at work, certain people in your family that you can't get away from, and nor am I asking you to necessarily. And then there are other parties that you can willingly decline and simply say, I have another commitment. Or a couple weeks ago on Facebook, I saw someone posted, I have to decline for secret reasons. And I really loved the allure and the mystery and the bit of humor in that when we say no to something, we don't have to justify it. We might feel like we need to, but I'm giving you permission that you don't have to justify it or explain. We can simply say, thank you so much for the invitation. I'm not able to come. Thank you though. Or I have another commitment. My apologies. Have a great time. Or I wish I could make it. I have another engagement. I have to decline for secret reasons. So any of these lines, steal them, use them when you are met with an invitation or situation that everything in your body, your mood, your emotions, your mind is saying either say no altogether or no, not now. It might be a timing thing as well. When I'm teaching, that's one of the boundaries that I've cultivated and try to uphold, try to cultivate for myself, is that when I'm approaching someone to work with them, there's the moment before the interaction, right? Like if I'm teaching in class or teaching live and someone is physically in front of me, there's the moment before the interaction where I check with myself, am I in the state of being that I would want to transfer to this other person? Am I feeling grounded, clear, like I have the energy to engage with this person in an adjustment, in a conversation, going to a party, whatever it might be? So I bring it back to myself and my own state of being. I take responsibility for my own ability to be present. And I know that my state, my perception, is the first thing that that other person, whether they're aware of it or not, it's one of the first things that they receive from our interaction. So let's take a moment and jot down a few boundaries, okay? So before we get to boundaries, think of, identify the people, places, environments, engagements, plans, whatever it might be that triggers you or that has triggered you in the past. Make a quick list. Be as neutral emotionally about this as possible. Simply jot down the place, the time, the party, the person, situations and things that have triggered you in the past. Write them down. Good. Take a deep breath while you finish writing. So you have these opportunities. That's what we will now identify these as. You have these opportunities to reframe, to start to reshape either whether you say yes to these parties, people, places, opportunities await you to respond differently, or whether you politely decline for secret reasons. You have another engagement. And when you're met with the person, party, or place that triggers you, like for me, I will not set foot in the shopping mall most of the month of December because it's so stimulating for me that for the most part, I would prefer to not go to the mall, hardly ever, and especially during the craziness of the holiday season. So that's one place that I've identified that I can clearly say no to. On the flip side, if you have Aunt so-and-so that you know that you're going to see at Thanksgiving or Christmas or New Year's or all three, you can decide, granted, you can decide whether you attend that family function. More than often, we're going to decide to go and do our best in those scenarios. So the next time that you see Aunt Trigger so-and-so that is on your list, you decide, how can I own this? How can I prepare myself and be in the healthiest state and presence for my own being? And then when I interact with that person, how can I transfer that clarity and peace to them? Okay. So big breath in. Here we go. Arms up. Set your pen down if you want. Hands draw down to the heart. One more time. Arms up. Big breath in. Pull the hands down. Melt the shoulders. Good. Take a moment with your eyes closed. Let yourself drop back into your seat. If you are perched forward as you are thinking, writing, listening, come back to your grounding. And then go ahead and place one hand on your sternum. So one hand right on top of the chest, and then the other hand on top of that. So we're going to let our palms connect us to the heart and lungs. Feet are grounded. Feel the skin of the hands touching the skin of the chest and sternum. Taking a moment to quiet down our thinking and feel our body breathing in and breathing out. And for some of us, when we focus or think of some of these scenarios where we have to decline for secret reasons, we might notice a sense of anticipation or a sense of tension in the body where we've come forward trying to figure it out or trying to problem solve it. Literally feel your concentration draw back in space, back into the body. So let my voice come to you and see if you can allow your concentration, rather than you're focused up in your head, literally imagine that your concentration is diffused, it's melting, it's flowing back into the body. And with that backward, a downward, sinking, melting quality, move your awareness in, back, and down. Letting the body be so captivating. Cutting your mental effort in half. Moving your mind in, down, and back. You might notice that your hips feel heavier, you feel more grounded in your seat. Maybe your breathing has slowed way down. Maybe your face, eyes, jaw feel calmer. Taking one more breath. Exhale the mind down, in. And then when you open your eyes, let the screen and your vision of the environment, your perception comes to you in this calm, comfortable seat. How do you feel? Sometimes it's that easy, right? We take a moment, we go in, and within a minute, 90 seconds, maybe 2 minutes, we can feel pretty dramatically different. And that is the power of awareness, the power of choice, aka the power of embodiment, a word that I use a lot. So when we're in our head, processing, learning, trying to figure something out, trying to create something different, that can be well and good some of the time. When we notice that that's creating more tension than it might be worth, or we're overly stimulated, like we've been at the shopping mall for 6 hours or whatever scenario just happened, we can come back, we can move in, and we can move down. So the imagery that we just used is not only physically grounding, but I find it to be mentally, emotionally, and energetically grounding. And that experience is at the heart of tip number 3. Tip 3 for a healthy body holiday: withdraw from it all. We live in a very stimulating culture. I don't really need to say that out loud. If you have a device and internet to be able to be listening to me right now, you probably live in a fairly stimulating environment or culture. And as a daily practice, to be able to move your awareness back into yourself, your body, your breath, moving in, down, and back, that practice of pratyahara can really literally feel like a lifesaver when then we're faced with one of those triggers later on. We can tap into that feeling and that experience in our body more reliably if we practiced it in the comfort and safety of our home. You know, if we're at home, we're safe, we're quiet, we can close the door, we can turn lights down, we can light a candle, we can play soft music, we can listen to a guided meditation, we can get all of the possible scenarios lined up, you know, all the aspects of that scenario lined up to have the best possible result. And that's great as a beginning practice. The true practice is, can we bring that peace and that sense of calm embodiment when we go back to step 2 and look at our list of people, places, and parties that have triggered us in the past? Can we bring that more skillfully in? So pratyahara, I mentioned this word, and pratyahara is one of the principles in yoga philosophy. So more concrete definition or translation is often withdrawal of the senses. And other commentary that I've read can also mean or imply heightening the senses. So after a period of moving in, withdrawal from it all, we then can feel more present. We can taste our food more. We can smell, the scent of a Christmas candle, or the flowers that are on the table, or the food that's cooking. Our senses are heightened after a period of reset. It's like the reset button or the reboot for your senses, for your mind, for your body. So, brief lesson about the nervous system. We won't get too in depth here, but we have our central nervous system, brain, spinal cord. We have our autonomic nervous system, which has two modes of function, two different ways that it works. And it helps control really essential things like our blood pressure, our heart rate, our use of insulin, our quality of digestion, our quality of muscle tone and tension or relaxation. So a lot of what we feel when we're stressed is literally hardwired. It's our body telling us to pay attention. It can be our body telling us, yes, things are on the right track. I feel safe. I'm good. I'm calm. Or our body asking us to do something different, to reconsider. So in our autonomic nervous system, we have the stress response, or the sympathetic state, the arousal state, the stress response. The other side of that same coin is our parasympathetic function of the autonomic nervous system. And that is our relaxation response, our ability to rest, to calm down, to come back to really healthy, nourishing organ function, breath function, more calm heart rate, blood pressure, etc. So this practice of pratyahara, literally, I want you to do it every day. You can decide whether it's for 3 breaths before you eat a meal. That could be your mini pratyahara practice. I sit down, my food's in front of me. I pause and take 3 breaths. And then after that 3rd breath, you're present and you're ready to have that nourishing meal. So it could be something very simple like that, or all the way to a more formal practice of seated meditation, devotions, taking a shavasana for 20 minutes. One thought is that this is a different practice than movement. We're going to get to movement in tip 4, but as one example, I live now in Orange County, California, after spending 31, 32 years in the Midwest, and then roughly a year in Texas with a whole lot of travel outside of Texas. And the culture is so different. The culture, especially around yoga and health and wellness, is quite different. In a lot of ways, I'm really grateful to be here. And I've also noticed really clearly that many of the yoga studios here, and probably in any major city in the US, many of the studios are shorter classes. There are mirrors all the way around the room. They're heated classes a lot of the time, not always, but a lot of the time. And there's loud music, or at least fairly upbeat music playing during that class. So whether that yoga class fits into pratyahara or movement or both, of course, depending on our perception, our experience of it, you be the judge. When we talk about the nervous system, however, the music, the external senses with the mirrors and watching yourself move, watching other bodies move, the sound, the heat. And often those classes are, 95% movement in like, a 90-second shavasana at the end of the practice, right? So movement is necessary, and I love it. And if music motivates you to move, that's great. When you're looking at pratyahara, tip number 3, withdrawing from it all, I literally encourage you to make that practice silent. It might feel challenging at first to literally hit the reset button and stop, lie down, sit, close your eyes. It might feel challenging at first to do that, but as you practice it, our ability as we practice it to sit with discomfort, to sit and be aware of our body's sensations more clearly, being able to discern what our body's asking for, our ability to push pause before we speak to someone when we're triggered. That ability, I believe, comes from a pratyahara practice or some kind of quiet, reflective, introspective practice. One last word around that practice, making it embodied pratyahara, is interoception. I'll say it one more time, interoception. And basically, it's the ability to sense and feel sensation in the body moment to moment. Moment to moment, it changes, right? So interoceptive practice is not quiet meditation practice where your mind is elsewhere, thinking about the gift that you need to buy, the presents you need to wrap, what you're going to make for dinner for your company next weekend. But the mind being occupied by, curious about the breath and the sensations in the physical body. So embodied withdrawal or pratyahara practice with interoceptive awareness. Fancy words for be present, feel your body, rest. Okay, so that's tip number 3. Take a moment with your pen and paper and jot down what your pratyahara practice goal is. So I want to challenge you to do pratyahara every day for this next week. Maybe it continues until January 1. Maybe it continues all the way through the month of December. So take a moment and jot down where you're going to do the practice or how you're going to implement tip number 3, withdraw from it all, pratyahara. Take a moment. Good. I'm going to allow the glow from my patio door to continue with us. It's quite angelic. So moving on to our 4th and final tip. 4th one is engage with movement. Yes. So of course we have movement for the sake of health and fitness, movement for the sake of burning off extra calories and the calorie equation of weight maintenance, right? Many people are aware during the holidays of the weight gain they want to avoid or the weight maintenance that they want, or maybe even weight loss during that time of year, this time of year. And those numbers games, the objectiveness of calories in, calories out, that's valid and it's valuable to understand. It's very helpful to have a sense of how many calories are in this meal that I'm about to have or in this treat that I'm about to have. And what else have I had today? How else have I nourished my body today? And is my body saying yes to this, no to this, how much, am I thirsty, etc., etc. So there's the whole calorie game, which movement, of course, helps and supports. Then there's this interoception piece that we talked about, the ability to actually feel your body's signals. And that part, for me, is more exciting, more motivating. And I think for a lot of my clients, they've found that it's very helpful. When we do movement practice with awareness, with the power of our mind, we then feel more grounded, more content. We can more clearly discern whether we're thirsty, hungry, etc., what's going to be the most satisfying and how much, and how do I prepare that food. And, we're going to make better choices a lot of the time if we're tuned into our body. The flip side of that is if we kind of the contrast to that is these sayings that we've all heard of, I was absent-minded, I lost my mind, I was mindless when I did that, absent-minded, mindless, I checked out, I was spacey, flighty. We have these words for being mindless or the mind removed from what we're actually doing in the real moment. And with movement, we're asking ourselves to come back. Through movement practice, we're training ourselves to pay attention. We're training ourselves the ability to feel our own body and better meet our body's needs. So take a moment and think about what movement practice you enjoy the most. Could be going for a walk, going for a run, doing Franklin method, rolling out your yoga mat reliably, like every day, doing your meditation practice with Pratyahara. Keep that separate. That's tip 3. So something where you're physically moving, you are getting some vigorous activity. Maybe you're breaking a sweat. Maybe you're breathing harder. Write down that activity. And then jot down maybe 2 other ideas. So the first thing that came to mind, as well as 2 other forms of movement. Could literally be power clean your house. That happens. Crank some tunes, vacuum, scrub floors, scrub the bathtub, work the shoulders. You could literally count that as your movement, as long as you are breathing, enjoying, sweating, aware, feeling your body. Another favorite one of mine actually is to dance, whether there's music on or not, actually, but most of the time it's when I have good music on and I'm in the kitchen cooking and that song comes on, and I will literally stop chopping my vegetables for 30 seconds or 5 minutes, grab Jason a lot of the time, and dance right here in our living room. So it doesn't have to involve going to the gym. It doesn't have to involve sitting on machine after machine for your circuit training or whatever it is. If you enjoy that, great, wonderful. I want you to also have some creative license that you can come up with more ways of making movement fun. New ways to move, make it more fun, so it's more motivating and inspiring. That was one of the tips that I was asked about for this webinar. And yeah, coming up with creative ways to break a sweat, to be in your body, to have a good time. Several Christmases ago, we did the Dostal Family Olympics, and we made up all these silly, like 60 seconds or a minute to win it. That's what it was, a minute to win it, that TV show. We made up games like that, and it got me and Jason and my 2 nieces and my brother and my parents and my sister-in-law. We were all like laughing hysterically and had a good bonding activity that was physically active, you know, before we had another meal or had treats or whatever else. It occupied our energy, our spirit, our bodies, our hands for probably an hour and a half. And it was one of the best memories. My nieces still ask me about that once in a while. So get creative with ways to have a good time and be in your body moving. The other creative aspect, I think I mentioned this, but it's worth probably saying again, the other creative aspect for me is when I think about Pratyahara, tip number 3. And when we're attached to a certain perception, a certain outcome, a certain memory of a certain outcome, especially if it was a negative one, our brain is in some ways hardwired or programmed to really easily remember those negative scenarios. Doesn't mean we can't overcome them. We certainly can by focusing on the good when it happens, focusing on the good that we feel. That's going to help our brain be trained for the good. Anyway, when we're really attached to an outcome or a specific scenario, it can feel like tunnel vision, right? We have blinders on. We only can think of the situation last year where we got into a huge fight with so-and-so in our extended family, and we feel that anger and frustration and hurt for so long afterwards, right? We can only see that. We've convinced ourselves that that is reality. For me, practicing Pratyahara, again, I mentioned it's kind of a spiritual experience for me, and I think for many people. And what I find so expansive and freeing about that quiet space of Pratyahara is that then when I'm approached by a person, a trigger, a place, a party, etc., I literally feel kind of my awareness open up and expand, and I can see other options. I can see other ways of responding more skillfully than when I was attached to what I thought was reality. So again, Pratyahara, withdrawing, as well as energy and movement, both are really, really necessary for our whole person health. All 5 koshas in the yoga system: physical body, mind, energy, emotions, and spirit, and kind of bliss, pure consciousness. From the more gross material moving out to the more subtle. On all of those levels, we need movement, vitality, energy, action, and we also need interoception, quietness, withdrawal, rest, deep, deep rest and recovery. So take a moment and grab your pen. We're going to review the 4 tips that we've gone through. Make sure that you've got them down clearly. First one, setting your intention. The second one, set boundaries. And the third, withdraw from it all, pratyahara. And number 4, engage with movement. Take a moment, review those. Maybe there's one in particular. They're sort of in order, but there might be one in particular that you say, wow, that one for me is where I have the biggest opportunity possible. Take a moment, if you're on the chat, pop it in. If you want to text me what your number 1 focus is for this next week, go ahead and let me know. And grab the blinds quick. Be back in a second. That's good. Excellent. So continuing into our Q&A after a moment of movement. Set your pen down and take a moment to come back to physical body, feet grounded. And check in with your current sensation in the body, current tension or sensation level, in particular through the face, the jaw, the neck. Good. Okay. So bring your hands up, give them a little warming. And then bring the hands to the back of your neck. We're going to take a little bow forward with our head. Squeeze the back of your neck like you're wringing out a sponge. And then relax the squeeze. Allow your head to rest back. Here we go. Sponging, squeezing, wring out the back of the neck. And then widen the sponge. Release the squeeze. Rest your head back into the sponge like it's supporting up under the back of your skull. Here we go. Melting, nodding forward. Release, widen, sinking back, melt, nod forward, sinking back into your hands. One more time with that hand doing the squeezing. Good. Take a moment to change which hand is on the bottom. We'll do 3 more. Easy breath. Melting the back of the neck. Imagine what a sponge feels like. Borrow that feeling of softness. Maybe you imagine the pouring water that flows down your back into your hips. One more time. Squeezing, melting, widening, softening. Good. Take the heel of the hand. Give yourself a little lift up from the sides of the skull. Little nod, yes. One more time. Stroking up, nodding yes, nodding yes, nodding yes. Good. And then brush down. Good. Take a moment and notice, compare now. I feel taller, my neck feels longer, my shoulders feel dropped. Some of you might notice a bit more freedom or space through the upper shoulders, around the collarbone, the chest. Good. Take it in for another 2 breaths. Like you're rebooting, we talked about that. Rebooting the mind with this positive experience. My neck feeling softer, calmer, looser. Shoulders dropped. Posture feels more tall, vertical, upright, floating. Good. Let's do one more. Bring your right hand to your left shoulder. Rather than the outer part, bony part of the shoulder, come up towards the neck, kind of right in between where the neck and shoulder meet. We're going to give a squeeze like we did for your neck while we lift our shoulder. So squeezing the sponge and then relax the shoulder down. Let go of the sponge like your elbow is really heavy. Here we go. Shoulder floats up. Give it a squeeze. And release down, melt. And again, floating up. Give it a squeeze. Lift. Relax. Melt. Flow down. One more lift. Squeeze the sponge. Turn your head no. Turn your head yes. Melt it down. Good. Your head goes towards the shoulder. Give it a squeeze. Release the squeeze of your sponge image and the head goes away from the shoulder. So we're going to squeeze as we go together and then melt as we go apart. One more. Squeeze together. Slide it up towards your ear. Relax, release, widen. Good. Go towards the shoulder last time. This time the ear stays, the hand melts, the shoulder goes down. If you're on a chair, let your arms shake out to the side of your chair and then brush down that arm and shoulder. Good. Check out your posture. You might notice that the 2 shoulders feel quite different. That's an A-okay thing. Feeling lopsided. Take a moment to really identify, again, upload this experience into your brain and nervous system. Identify, what do I feel that's different? My jaw feels more relaxed. My eye actually feels more open on that side, literally, not playing up with me. My arm, feels heavier, like my arm's resting in my lap more easily, more heavily since that shoulder has dropped. Good. So again, it's that moment of truth that not only did we create a change, a healthy change in our physical body through these practices of the Franklin method, which you'll learn more if you enroll with the program, of course. That moment of truth is identify what's good and let your brain actually experience it. It can be really tempting to go to the contrasting side of, well, the shoulder I didn't do feels tighter, or the shoulder I did do feels less tight, less tense than it did before. That's a positive change still, but we're languaging it around the negative. Take that permission, that creative license to language the experience in your body with positive imagery, positive language, and your brain and nervous system get that message. They get that kind of upload into the system after we experience a change. Okay, enough theory. Brain power focused to the second shoulder. Here we go. Shoulder rises up towards the ear and then releases down, down, down. And when the shoulder goes up, give it a squeeze. Relax the squeeze of the hand, melt it down. And we use that sponge image, or you could use melting imagery. Maybe your shoulder is like peanut butter that came out of the fridge, and as you work with it, it's getting more melty, more liquid, more pliable. The smooth oils from your nut butter is flowing down the arm, it's flowing out your elbow all the way to the floor. Go one more time. Good. Head goes towards the shoulder, give it a squeeze, bring it up towards the ear, and then relax, widen, go away from that shoulder. Give it a squeeze, bring the ear and shoulder toward each other, and then rest, widen, away. Again, towards, melt, widen, slide apart. Last time, head and ear towards each other, Last time, widening, melting, good. The head goes towards the shoulder last time. Give it a nod, yes. And a little squeeze while you turn the head side to side or turn it no. And let the arm shake out at your side. Brush down. Good. And have a moment to compare. Notice, observe, is it different? Yes, no, start there. And then let your mind upload or upgrade your identity around your shoulders, that it is not less tense than before, but it is more what? Relaxed, comfortable, looser. I feel broader and wider through my chest. Take one more breath. Maybe notice if you're smiling like I am. Fully exhale. Okay. So in review, we have these 3 or so techniques that we looked at today. Moving the awareness in, back, and down. Interoception, sensing the body, pratyahara. Bringing the awareness back to physical embodiment and sensation. Practice number 1. Practice 2, we did our neck sponging sequence with a little lift and a brush down. And then practice number 3, we did shoulder sponging. That first practice is more of a yoga therapy technique or guided imagery, and the second 2 are Franklin method techniques. Let's briefly go over our questions that we had. The first one was, how do I manage stress better? Are there simple 5 to 10 minute things that I can do quickly, conveniently to drop the stress and the overwhelm and feel better? Your answer, Sue, is yes. Of course there are. We did 3 of them today. Within those first few moments of moving the awareness in, first few shoulder sponges, etc., we automatically, fairly instantly, start to feel better. A lot of the times, physical tension or the experience of stress is asking for our attention to come back to ourselves for self-care, for movement, okay? The part that I loved about your question, Sue, was that in designing the Healthy Body Holiday online program, I thought ahead to that, where I said, okay, if time is of the essence and people are busy at the holidays, rather than filming these long, glorious, luxurious practices of 90 minutes, although you do get 2 one-hour video practices in the program, I thought ahead and also recognized your question. And part of the Healthy Body Holiday content is 3 self-care quickie videos. So you'll get an oiled foot massage video that, for me, feels amazing. It's also really great self-care for your skin and nails to do an oiled massage during the cold and dry winter season. And it's a really soulful self-care practice, I find, that when I do the oiled foot massage with these specific techniques that I'll guide you through on the video, it feels like a nice sigh of relief, physically, energetically, mentally, emotionally, etc. Okay? So that's one of the self-care quickie videos. You also get a posture improver, Franklin method practice, and also a stress energy shakeout video that is a lot of fun. Feel free to laugh your butts off as you do it with me. And it can be great, like before we get to a meltdown, to shake off that stress, reconnect with our body and drop the anxiety and overwhelm. Can also be a really great practice to do if you have kids and your kids are on like the verge of meltdown. It can be a simple couple of minutes to turn that video on and do the practice. As you get more and more familiar as well, you can guide that practice for yourself or for your family members in your household. So are there simple things you can do in 5 to 10 minutes? Yes. The key part there is awareness. I need to take 5 for myself, and then skill building around that. What do I do in those few minutes? And I know that you have a lot of ideas from having worked together for so long, Sue. the other two questions, too much food, there's food everywhere, there's food everywhere, there's food everywhere. We have talked through several techniques. Again, first one being awareness, pause. Am I thirsty? Am I hungry? What does my body need in this moment? And what does my mind, emotions, and soul want in this moment? I'm all for indulging and pleasure. And a lot of our family traditions and nostalgia and anticipation is built around these favorite foods, favorite treats. So again, identify what's going to be the most satisfying. And if it's that exact recipe, that's the one that you make. And maybe you skip some of the other ones that end up just sitting on your counter for the next month, really not feeling satisfying at that point anyway, since they're kind of old and dried out and crusty, right? So reducing excess, choose your favorites, indulge and really love your favorites when you have them, and listen to your body. Actually feel when you're full, when you're content. And if you happen to overindulge, so be it. Forgive yourself, move on, hydrate, move, etc. Part of the bonuses for the Healthy Body online program is something that I'm working on right now, and I'm creating brand new, and it's called the After Party Guide to a Happy Belly and Body. So some of you know that I'm really keen on helping people have regular bowel movement. Part of that is this overall kind of digestive health, and that shifts pretty dramatically if we're perceiving or under a significant or kind of chronic low-grade stress. Whether we're aware of it and perceiving that stress, or our physical body knows that we're on a bit of stress or overwhelm, it can really change things in our colon and our digestive system and our immune system. So this After Party Guide for a Happy Belly and Body is going to be looking at how do we kind of reset. So if we do happen to have a great night out and one extra cocktail or more than that, or extra sweet treats or extra rich foods that we're not used to, how do we reset our system and reset our taste buds and reset our mind and emotions around that scenario? So that's going to be a bonus for the Healthy Body Holiday program, is that kind of mini program, the After Party Guide. So stay tuned for that. The last question that I received this week was the motivation question, and for that I have a quote from Tony Robbins, personal favorite of mine, super motivational speaker, leadership coach, business coach. I'm probably going to get some of his books this winter as well, and I love his work. So he accomplishes a lot in one day. We have the same amount of time in each day, no matter who we are. And he says, a real decision is measured by the fact that you've taken a new action. If there's no action, you haven't truly decided. I'll read it one more time. It's a quote by Tony Robbins, and he says, a real decision is measured by the fact that you've taken a new action. If there's no new action, you haven't truly decided. I love that quote because we can set intentions and daydream and goal set and do all of that work. But if it doesn't translate into how we live as human beings, as women, as people, as family members, as business owners, employees, if it doesn't translate into everyday life, it's kind of pointless, in my opinion. You know, I love movement for the sake of movement, but I also love how it gives us energy back to enjoy our family, to enjoy travel, to enjoy all the things that come up during the holidays and year round. So to answer your question, how to get motivated to work out and stay active, how do I get myself going when I don't feel like going? And the first thing, again, is awareness, noticing awareness, how you feel. Sometimes when we want to push and we think we should be doing a workout, we really need pratyahara and rest more. So discerning in your energy and in your body, if that's the healthiest practice for you in that moment, maybe you don't need to try to push yourself and motivate yourself to go to the gym or to do a yoga class. maybe what you need most is pratyahara, and you take 20 minutes of silence and recovery for yourself. Most of the time, we know that we feel better when we move as well. Even in those moments of, I don't feel like it, I feel stressed, I feel tense, I don't feel well, I have no energy. Many times when we get started within those first few minutes of exercise, we actually feel better. We feel our energy increasing, we feel the mood lift, and we feel quite often like a brand new person. So that translation, or that step-by-step of I don't feel like it, noticing, being able to step back from the mind's dialogue or perception of I can't, I'm too tired, etc. We can step back and then discern, is what I really need rest and pratyahara? Am I burnt out and that's the healthiest thing for me is to rest? Or is that the fatigue and overwhelm of serving everyone else talking, and what I need most is to serve myself through a focused movement practice? So awareness, discernment, choice. You are in charge. We are each in charge of our own activities, of our own bodies. So again, a real decision is measured by the fact that you've taken a new action. If there's no new action, you haven't truly decided. Thank you for deciding to attend this webinar. If you are watching from the lead page that I sent out via email, at the bottom of that page, there's a little button you can click on and opt in with your email, and that will get you the whole Healthy Body Holiday guide as a free gift, as well as 5 days of email support from me, helping you step by step implement the 4 tips that we talked about, as well as some other insights and detail and stories around each of those tips from me. So make sure you opt in from that bottom of the page with the embedded live stream. Click on that, enter your email. You'll get the 5 days of email support and the full download of the full Healthy Body Holiday guide. In the next week or so, my website is going live. Woo! I have to celebrate. This has been in progress, at least internally incubating in my own creativity for a good 2 years or more. I've learned a lot about doing online business, and if you had trouble with the webinar today, thank you for your understanding and forgiveness, and the replay will be sent out, so no worries there. And as I'm on the verge of like birthing this new website into the world, I feel really, really honored from all the comments that I've gotten from everyone over the years, the lessons I've learned over the years. And I really feel that the Healthy Body Holiday program, that it's going to be probably my best program offering yet, especially for sure as an online program. It feels really crafted, it feels curated, and that is opening on November 22nd. So in this next week, you have your 4 tips and the email support and the guide to already be laying the groundwork for your Healthy Body Holiday. And then from November 22nd through November 30th, you have the invitation to enroll in the full online program, which will run through December 1 through 31, but you'll also get lifetime access to those materials. So 6 videos, several PDFs, the bonus after party guide of how to reset after indulging. It's a guide as well as a movement practice video. The self-care quickie videos, you get bonus audio meditations. The other thing that I'm really excited about is the one-on-one support that I'm offering. So part of the online program, only with this opening of Thanksgiving time, that week of enrollment is when these bonuses apply. And in that enrollment period, I'm offering a 45-minute strategy session with me. So online courses are great, and they're a do-it-yourselfer kind of option. You do get email support, but to be able to actually communicate your needs specifically one-on-one is priceless. And I really look forward to working with each of you to make sure that you're satisfied with your own progress and you're really able to implement these tips into your life so that you can feel the joy and peace that you want to during this holiday season. So again, thank you so, so much for being here. And I would love to hear from you what your favorite part of this webinar was. What's the nugget, the one insight that you can't wait to implement that you think is really going to make a difference for you. And I'll see you soon for more information about the program. Thank you, and I'll see you later. Bye.